I like the on-air thing that comes up. It makes me feel, legit.
It, we're so very professional here. All right. Now I have to go find the thing on Substack because God knows it doesn't just immediately pop up because why would it do that?
No, that's terrible. Yeah.
All right. Here we go. And poof.
Is there an invite link you can send to me for this Substack? Like,
maybe if I can get it to open on my screen. Come on, guys.
Yeah, just send it in the private chat because I always have problems going from it works then, but I don't know because Nick does that and I don't know why it doesn't do that for me in other mediums. There it is.
Do it. It'd be great if I can get into it so I can see the people's Substack. You're killing me here.
Well, of course.
Substack, you hurt my feelings.
Well, of course it's going to hurt your feelings.
Like, I see it on my screen, but I can't open it up so I can see the chat, which is... wait. There we go. Finally. Good Lord. I swear to God, they just make... Substack is so not user-friendly sometimes. Look, It's a Florida woman. She's in the chat.
She is.
Why, hello, Florida woman. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. So anyway, the Bills are just not going to have a good season next season. It's just not going to. It's not going to work out for them.
Damn. Didn't your quarterback break his leg or something?
Yeah, but see, that's a legitimate excuse, not like a Bills excuse where it's just hey, why'd you have a bad game? Because we're the Bills.
Damn, look at that. Already just talking smack. We haven't even started the podcast yet.
Yeah, see, for us to lose in the playoffs, we literally have to have our quarterback break his leg. For Josh Allen, he just has to be there.
Ooh. Look at that. Look at that. I could hear her seething all the way down to Florida. The ice is melting. The iguanas are waking up. The fiery rage of Florida woman is single-handedly thawing out all of Florida.
I had a buddy of mine in Orlando. He's like, man, it got down to 20 degrees last night. I'm like, yeah, I think you have a Bills fan down there. Just bringing it a little bit, It's like
it was the icy frostness of her anger.
Yes.
It was a cold front moved in.
It's like, what is that cold front? My hopes for next season.
Damn. All right.
We better get into it before she puts a hit out on me.
Yeah, it is. It's called the Bills Mafia for a reason.
That's true. Yeah.
She'll do it. She'll do it. God damn it.
Yeah, well, and that is the thing I have to give the Bills. They literally have the Bills Mafia, and I think the Broncos. It's just it's I don't know what the name would be. It's just the gang of people going, being stuck in traffic, going, no, you go, no, you go ahead.
Too polite.
Yeah, right. It's Denver. It's like at best we're coming up with Broncos Nation, and that's about it.
All right, give me 1 second. No one wants to hear an ogre blow their nose.
That would be pretty horrifying if Shrek is,
Exactly. I mean, I know they had booger jokes in that movie, but yeah, no one wants to see that on the podcast.
No.
Our chat is working, Florida woman. I don't know, maybe leave and come back.
It's true.
We promise not to say anything about you while you're gone. Okay, everybody,
that's right.
Start talking about it while she's gone. All right. Let us get this started.
Let's do it.
Episode 84. This is the Opinionated Ogre Podcast, your weekly rampage through current events with a little snark, a bit of foul language, and a lot of strong opinions. There are new episodes every Thursday, and they're not safe for work or polite company of any kind whatsoever. I am your podcast host, the Opinionated Ogre, and this is my co-host, Frederick Pogue, once again filling in for Florida Woman, who literally has a doctor's note for missing the show this week as she takes her uncle for his chemo appointments. Hi, Fred.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. Are you still mourning the loss of your beloved Broncos?
Actually, yes, I am. Like that, if there was ever a Pyrrhic victory in NFL sports, it would be that. Like, you know, Florida Woman and I called a truce that lasted for 10 minutes until I broke it. So
yeah, that's true. Like you and Florida Woman can definitely drown your sorrows together while I continue to not pay attention to sports in any way whatsoever.
You just have to pay attention to our rivalry. That's all you have to pay attention to is the smack talk, and then rate it as yay or you know.
All right, let's get going. This is the recording for February 5th, 2026, and we have a lot to get to on episode 84 of the Og Pod. Are we ready to do this?
Yes.
Awesome.
I am ready to say that QAnon was right, and they're just upset because it happened to be their guy.
Exactly. They were right about everything except which party it was.
Oof. Oof.
Womp womp. All right, then let's get to it. It's time for the Ogre Nation news update. Roar.
Oh. I like the roar.
Roar. All right. Trump goes full authoritarian dictator. Federal authorities last week, arrested Don Lemon and Minnesota journalist Georgia Fort after they covered a protest at a MAGA church earlier this month. Wait, yes. What am I saying? Damn it. I didn't write this. You're killing me here, Florida Woman. Now, in this particular church, the pastor also happens to work for ICE. And some people would say that is a gross breach of ethics and an even more vile abuse of Christianity itself. You know, kind of like if one were to just ignore the message of Jesus about welcoming a stranger in your land, but whatever. It was last month. Yeah, the arrest took place on January 29th. I keep forgetting, this is like, we're just at the very beginning of February.
Right.
The arrest took place on January 29th and came a week after Magistrate Judge Douglas L. Micco declined to sign off on the DOJ's charges against Lemon, citing First Amendment protections of the free press. You know, the First Amendment. We've all heard of it. The magistrate's decision infuriated Pam Bondi, or rather her puppet master, Stephen Miller. The U.S. Attorney from Minnesota notified Patrick J. Schultz, the chief judge at the U.S. District Court for Minnesota, that he'd be asking the district court to force the magistrate to approve the arrest warrants. The conservative judge called the petition frivolous and stated, quote, "It is important to emphasize that what the U.S. attorney requested is unheard of in our district or, as best I can tell, any other district in the 8th Circuit. I have surveyed all of our judges, some who have been judges in our district for over 40 years, and none can remember the government asking a district judge to review a magistrate judge's denial of an arrest warrant." Schultz told the DOJ there was no evidence Lemon participated or conspired in any criminal behavior and urged prosecutors to either improve their petition or go fuck themselves. Go to a grand jury. However, he said he would not rule on petition immediately. Instead of waiting, though, the DOJ went straight to the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, asked for the judges on the court to sign the arrest warrants. A 3-judge panel said, fuck you. Denied the petition. After that denial, mind you, they asked like a whole bunch of times, and a whole bunch of different judges said no. But
The DOJ said, but we really want to do this. And Donald Trump doesn't like Don Lemon, and he told us to. The DOJ took the case to a grand jury anyway, which handed down the indictments against Lemon. And honestly, I wonder about that because, I mean, grand juries have been shooting them down left and right. So I really wonder what they told the grand jury. Like, did they actually present them a case or did they just lie? Because they're not above that. Anyway,
Yeah.
The federal government's charges against a journalist claimed they violated the Freedom of Access to Clinics Entrances Act of 1994. While the law, yeah, I know. While the law was intended to protect women who were trying to enter abortion clinics to receive reproductive care, it also included a provision that extended similar protections to people entering houses of worship. The indictment against Lemon and Fort accused them of entering the church and calling the worshipers Nazis and telling them that they were in the house of the devil. I feel like Lemon and Fort did not do that because if they were there covering the protest, they were covering it, probably not chanting or yelling stuff. Anyway, the Trump regime alleges Lemon asked the pastor questions, which, journalist, yes, probably, while the demonstrators blocked him. Well, that's not his problem. He's a journalist. He can't tell the demonstrators what to do or not to do. Anyway, Lemon was released from custody the day after his arrest. The former CNN reporter issued a statement and said he would not stop reporting the news. It's important to understand the perversion of this law and how the right is clutching its pearls after years of spewing hate and making death threats. Now that we're holding them accountable for their violence and depravity, they're outraged. How dare anyone hold up a mirror to their grotesque hypocrisy? And this is just another step in the criminalization of independent journalism, something a fascist regime cannot abide. It's also important to note that the Christian nationalist pro-life wing is gearing up to start attacking abortion clinics again in states that have refused to outlaw the life-saving medical procedure. They've gone on the record saying that this is the perfect time to once more terrorize women because they know the law the regime just used to arrest journalists is not going to be used to stop them because the law for thee, not for me. Fascism 101. Can't wait. Yeah, very excited.
Oh yeah, no, they are. It's interesting because this is one of those things that flies in the face of with us with decency, because it's like we always see on our side seem to go, well, should the protesters enter a house of worship when people are worshiping? And I'm like, the pastor's a Nazi. I'm pretty sure he's not literally wearing a mask and then going in there and preaching like you should love your neighbor. Like, I'm pretty sure it's pretty white nationalist, right wing, and so yeah. But I kind of I like this with the protesters, where it's like, because I think a lot of times with these these fascists is they're ensconced in their bubble,
Yeah,
and
they
don't
have no
suffer.
idea. I guarantee most of the people in that church did not know that their pastor was actually working for ICE.
Yep. I mean, and then of course, because you have the DOJ that's really just carrying out, they're carrying out Trump's authoritarian wet dream, And speaking of that, we have to mention the raid on Fulton County, Georgia's election office, because the FBI seized the 2020 ballots and voting records from the county under the lie that they're trying to prove that Trump was the real winner of Georgia.
Yeah.
Now, remember, this is the same county that indicted Trump for trying to steal the election. That case died when he became president again. Interestingly, though, the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, pulled her head out of Putin's butt and showed up at the raid. Kind of curious why the director of national intelligence is there, but it's highly unusual for DNI to show up at something like this that has nothing to do with foreign interference. We have since learned that Gabbard is running her own independent investigation separate from the FBI. Well, I'm sure that will be 100% above board and not compromised in any way whatsoever. Also, we have the original Mona Lisa for sale.
Right,
Now,
I have it right over here on the side. Shh, don't
which
tell
I have a copy that I'm told is awesome called the Mona Lisa. Totally different, but it's separate. It's a thing. Definitely not a forgery in either case. Fulton County is now suing the federal government over the raid. Two things to watch for here. One, the regime will not find exactly the voter fraud that multiple audits did not find. I want to repeat that they did not find. If the FBI doesn't, Gabbard absolutely will. Possibly linked to China or Venezuela, maybe Cuba, who knows? But it was 100% foreign interference, and Hillary Clinton's email server and Hunter Biden's laptop were involved. And I'm sure there's some satellite hacking with Jewish space lasers that got into the voting machines. Absolutely 100% for sure.
I have the codes for the Jewish space lasers.
That's the thing about this whole QAnon stuff, man. It's like Fry from Futurama when they found out the pyramids were really built by aliens. It's like, check that out. Insane theories 1, regular theories 1 billion. When experts demand to see the evidence, the regime will say it's part of an active criminal investigation, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, you can't see a goddamn thing. Trust us. Would we lie? Of course, but not really. 2, this is a dry run for stealing the midterms because they're absolutely going to try to do that. They're seeing how much they can get away with now in terms of stealing voter information, voting records, and probably voting machines in November when Republicans lose everywhere. This is a move born from desperation and fear. In case you missed it, Trump is now pressuring Republicans to, quote, nationalize elections. The Constitution is very clear about this. The federal government does not control state and local elections, which makes it impossible for a dictator like Trump to directly rig the vote. Manipulate voters, yes, but manipulating ballots, that's not so easy under our current system. When the rotting tangerine fascist tried to do this during his first term in office, Republican-controlled states resisted. They kind of resisted in this one, if you look at Indiana, and when they told him to go get bent, and it is likely they will this time as well. As we discussed several times on here, Republicans are not at all confident that Trump will get them across this fascism finish line. They do not believe the regime will be in power come 2029. So what happens if they hand control of their elections over to the federal government and that government is now controlled by a Democrat? They can't just demand control back, and with federal control over red states, all of the GOP's voter suppression and election rigging is done. That would be the end of the GOP. It's a little too risky. Still, this is something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I have to reinforce that point. I know a lot of people are, because Trump is pushing this really hard.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's gonna keep pushing the nationalize thing. He wants to nationalize elections because he's terrified of losing the midterms. But
Yes.
Republicans are equally terrified of nationalizing elections, because once you do that, it's really hard to undo it.
Yep.
And if they do not keep power and Democrats control elections in Republican states, Republicans are fucked. Absolutely fucked. And they know it, because without all of the things they do to cheat and rig their elections, that's the end of the Republican Party. They'll say Democrats are stealing our elections, but all Democrats have to do is make sure the elections are free and fair. And to a Republican, that is rigging an election to make sure everyone gets to vote and all the votes are counted. That's game over for them. That's a disaster for them. So they cannot fucking allow that to happen. And Trump seizing control of red state elections is opening a door to Democrats opening, just controlling their state elections and making sure they cannot suppress the vote anymore. And that's the end of the Republican Party for fucking ever. So,
oh yeah.
They can't scream. Yeah, like Art Being says, what about always calling for states' rights? Republicans can't scream about states' rights only when there's a Democrat in office, and then say, well, actually, we believe in federal rights when there's a fascist dictator. It's just not going to work that way. They won't be able to have it both ways. They can't have their cake. They can't have their Nazi cake and eat it too, unless I shove it down their throat and they fucking choke to death on it. Speaking,
what would be Nazi cake though? Now that I'm thinking about it,
bland, flavorless, white. It's not even vanilla. It's just white. Vanilla has flavor, so it's just bland, flavorless white cake.
yeah.
All right, now
what is Nazi cake? A wet cracker. Oh crap! No, it's just salty and wet.
Speaking of Nazis, so last week on Thursday, I wrote an article that made, oh my God, Jesus Christ, right? The article was, it's weird. You can never fucking tell when an article is going to go kaboom and blow up and go super fucking viral. And I generally don't talk about the newsletter and the articles on the podcast or even just in general. But The article was, it is different this time and racist white men should be fucking terrified. And the article is just, it was just elaborating on a theme that I've been touching on a lot lately, is that when the regime falls, we're going to come for all the fucking Nazis in the fucking regime. All these people are going to be fucking held accountable.
Right.
I didn't say we're going to hunt down all the racist white men in the country and we're going to throw them in jail and put nooses around their neck. I was specifically talking, and I'm very fucking clear about this in the article. I'm talking about the fucking brown shirts. I'm talking about Trump's Nazi thugs and Stephen Miller's Nazi thugs. But from the reaction from Nazi Stack, you would think I wrote an article saying I personally plan to murder every single white man in America. Holy shit.
See, this is what I hate, man. I say things like that, and I get like 2 trolls. You know, you do this, and they blow you up, and I'm like, I'm full of more rage than the green ogre. Like, where's mine?
You have to, you know what it is? Usually an article has to pass 250 restacks for the Nazis to show up. This one got to 400. That's when the Nazis showed up.
Because it bleeds over into them. It bleeds over into their little world, where Substack's like, hey, you're racist. This has racist in the title. Also white. We think you'd like to read it.
As for all the flaws of Substack, and there are many, many flaws in Substack.
A lot.
I have to say, the algorithm does not do the outrage thing where it tries to do outrage engagement. Thank fucking God for that.
Oh God, I hate that so much. It is it has ruined every other platform. It's so awful. My God, it's awful.
Every now and then they'll do a little test to see, hey, do you want to see a whole bunch of anti-vaxxer stuff? And I just go click, click, click. No, fuck off. And then I don't see it again for like 6 months.
Yep.
And I rarely, ever see Nazi shit. Like it. Yeah. The only time I see Nazi shit is when I start engaging with the Nazi shit. I think, which makes sense. You engage with it, the algorithm's going to show it to you because you engaged with it. That makes sense. But unsolicited,
No, one thing I really liked about that article, and this is something that I encounter when I write a stack is like, well, how do you propose we do X, right? Like you'll put out, we need to hold billionaires accountable. We need to hold this accountable, or and it's like, well, what's like our side really wants this plan of how that's going to occur, and I think a lot of that happens is because it's not something we've ever really seen like at large scale. And what I the piece that I like that you've written, like you talked about Maddow, where she's showing the protests, right, and she's showing accountability, and she's showing like what we're really talking about, especially in that piece, is like when we say Nuremberg Mall, or we say we're coming for the brown shirts, is we're going to hold these people accountable en masse, and that's gaining steam, and that's terrifying.
It absolutely fucking
because
is.
once you hold those people accountable, inevitably you're going to find out who enabled them and why, and then it's like, oh, like, because again, January 6th is not possible without Ginny Thomas, who's married to Clarence Thomas, and she was never questioned. Why was she never questioned? What about all the money that went into funneling January 6th? You can go into Epstein, you go into anything. And so once you start to get those people at the top, or you get their enforcers, inevitably you get the people who are bankrolling them. That's why they're terrified.
It's more than just that. I mean, and that's definitely not incorrect, right? That's definitely true. But it's also, and this is the thing that I've been talking about for a really long time. We have never held racist white men in this country accountable. Never. Going all the way back to the Civil fucking War.
Nope.
We didn't hold those fuckers accountable. We didn't hang the entire government of the Confederacy. Nope. We didn't hang their generals. We didn't hang them. They should have all been hung as fucking traitors.
Because that was the historical norm, right?
Right.
Like normally that's the norm. We didn't do that because it's like, and I get the rationale behind it, where it's like, oh, you wanted to heal the nation and this and that, but look what happened afterwards. We had Jim Crow, we had everything else, and
they just kept doing it.
Right.
And when they were running around the South and they were just lynching people, we didn't go in there and just kill them for it. Like people weren't executed. People weren't arrested. They just got away with it over and over and over and over for generations. When the Nazis were running around in the 30s and even into the 40s, and I've talked about this. We locked up over 170,000 Japanese on the West Coast, Japanese Americans on the West Coast who didn't do anything at all.
Nope.
But we knew that there were Americans, white people, who were openly siding with the Nazis. And we were like, well, they're allowed to have a political opinion. It's like, no, they're fucking traitors. These are the people that you're saying you have to be worried about the Japanese Americans, because they might side with the Japanese Empire. But here you have people who are openly in the streets going, I love Nazis. I fucking love Nazism. I want the Nazis to win. But you're like, well, we can't really do anything because it's racist white men and we just don't hold them accountable ever, 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 ever. And again, over and over and over.
It's even more, it goes even further, like this white supremacy, so you mentioned World War II. You have German POWs in the United States, Kansas, they're in prisoner camps. They're allowed to go out and do farm work. They have way better conditions than our prisoners were treated in Germany. And they were able to go into town because part of the Geneva Convention is you're paid for the labor you perform, right? Oh, so they have money. They go into town and they're able to eat at restaurants that Black service members who were over in Europe fighting the Nazis, helping our troops, have to eat out back because it's whites only. That is our history. That's how enmeshed. What? So to your point, no.
So we treated the Nazis better than our own servicemen.
We treated people that killed our troops better because they were white and Aryan than we did for our black servicemen that were like helping to fight the war. They couldn't eat inside the same places that German POWs could. Like, that's our history.
That's fucking impressive.
Yeah, that's how. And again, that's why
I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that before.
No, yeah, dude, it's because again, you got to remember, we're still segregated. FDR wanted to desegregate the service, like at the start of the war, and they were like, "No, you're going to piss off the South, and it's going to lead to recruiting problems and everything else." It was finally after the war, Truman said, "This is dumb. We're doing it." Like, that's why it happened. But FDR wanted to do it, and they were like, just like everything else. Oh no, you're going to make the South mad because they're racist as hell and they're bigoted, and we can't have that. Not while we're prosecuting the war.
But yeah, that's what the whole accountability thing. That's what's freaking them out so bad because, I mean, after Reagan, people were like, well, some people went to jail. Let's move on. It's a new day. After George H.W. Bush, people were like, whatever, Bill Clinton's in office. Let's move on. Blah, blah, blah. Let's heal the nation. After George W. Bush, people were like, oh, the country's messed up. We have to move on. Let's heal the nation. After the first Trump regime, let's move on. We have to move on. The only reason so many people got arrested is because it was such a heinous fucking crime. They attacked the Capitol, and not for nothing. The only reason Trump got arrested and Trump got in trouble is because he wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
If Trump had gone away like every other ex-president, they would have left him alone. Yep. He wouldn't go away. So since he wouldn't go away and he kept screaming at the top of his lungs, look at me, look at me, look at me, because, he can't not be in the spotlight, then they were like, well, we don't have a fucking choice. If this guy won't go away and he won't just let it die, then we can't just ignore him, right? They would have definitely just said, la, 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 la. We don't know. Trump went away. Let's just not talk about it anymore and let's move on. But he wouldn't let them move on. So they had to do something, and they dragged their feet. And then, if he hadn't won the election, then he definitely would. They probably still would have found a way to keep him from going to jail, but they would have had to keep doing something because he wouldn't have gone away. But otherwise, they would have definitely just been like, la, 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 let's move on. But that's not what's happening now. People are screaming at it's not just me. I am not even the person who came up with Nuremberg them all. That was Dr. Eileen. Fuck, I forgot how to say her last name. Sorry, Eileen. But sorry, Antelek. Dr. Eileen Antelek. She's the one that came up with, for me at least. I'm sure someone else came up with it, but she's the one that came up with, for me, Nuremberg them all. And I see that all over the place now. People are constantly talking about Nuremberg trials now. And that has never happened before. We have never done that before.
You're right. We've never done. I'm a little more biblical, biblically inclined with what I want to do. Also Monty Python inclined, because I want just them to be in a congressional committee and then have some people pop up and says, no one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Well, they definitely fucking expect it, because we won't shut the fuck up about it at this point. And that's really scaring the shit out of them. That's why so many Nazis showed up and were like losing their fucking minds. Like, how dare you? Because it's really freaking them out that we're doing that. We're talking about this.
I think that we, on our side, what's fascinating and is like liberals are becoming fighters. And and I wrote a piece about that yesterday. What I mean by that is it's not about like, I don't hear a lot of tone policing about civility. I mean, every once in a while you see that, or it's about, oh well, you gotta, like, guys, I mean, Chuck Schumer can only do so much, and we just have to take our little crumb and blah blah blah. It's like, no, we want accountability. It's turning into an up versus down. We're seeing what the people have done in power, and we don't like it, and we're not taking no for an answer. We want accountability. It's like, because it's long since past time. Because to your point, look what Obama did with the corporate class, and he said, hey, I kept you guys from going to jail, like, knock it off. And what do they do after that?
No, they just shit all over him.
Right. They all over him. And then they're now, and the stock market's in the same place it was in 2008. And that's because bad people, unfortunately, only learn from pain compliance. And that's either you take away their freedom, or you hold them accountable and you make it painful to where they go, oh man, I better not do that again. Like, look what they did to this guy. Oh my God. And that's it.
Yeah, as far as civility goes, the right's been talking about civility, which I think is fucking hilarious. And the legacy press is going to start talking about civility sometime in early 2028. Like, mark that. Put that on your calendar.
It's time to heal the nation.
Yep.
We have to come together. We have to come together.
Actually, they're going to start doing that right after the midterms.
Yep.
Because, like, right after the midterms, when we absolutely fucking crush Trump, right? And then he tries to steal it and it doesn't work. And then they're going to be like, oh shit, wait, Democrats are going to control the House and almost certainly the Senate. They're going to be like, listen, we really need to heal the nation. Maybe we shouldn't impeach Trump again because it'll be so divisive. That's what
I can't wait. I can't wait for your reaction pieces, because I know you and I are going to have the same reaction when we can almost name the Washington Beltway insiders that are going to write. Put this down, folks. This is coming after 2028 if there's a blue tsunami, and it's going to be, Democrats should do the best move possible. Work with Trump.
Yep.
That is coming. Like, all the think pieces of, they should compromise and work with Trump, who's more than willing to work with them.
Democrats should resist the urge to impeach Trump.
Yep.
I guarantee that's a headline. I just wrote a headline. I just saw the future.
David Brooks. I'm telling you, David Brooks is going to write that headline.
No, wait. Here's another one. Impeaching Trump would be a mistake. There's another one. I'm already telling you that's going to happen. And my response is just going to be like just like an entire 2,000-word article of me going, Gah! That's coming.
Maureen Dowd is going to, Democrats have lost the plot in their thirst for vengeance.
It's like, why are Democrats tearing the nation apart?
Right.
You go. There's another one. There you go. Look at that. This is it. This is the podcast of the future. We're actually here from 2027 telling you the headlines of the future.
Demanding Pam Bondi's resignation is a mistake for Democrats.
Wait, hold on. Here, let me wear my future telling hat.
And that's how you know corporate media, legacy media is a joke. It's a joke. Because they always go to the same well. Whatever they're going to supplicate to power every time.
Oh wait, hold on. Morgan's telling me that someone got arrested in Texas. There was a video I showed it to my daughter this morning. Some MAGA guy was driving past. He was in his pickup truck, but of course he was.
Was that the one that got out and attacked the girl, the teenage girl?
So, all right. So for the rest of you who have not seen this video, there were a bunch of high schoolers who were out. They did a walkout, right? And they were protesting ICE. And some asshat got out of his pickup. He drove up and he started arguing with them. And they were yelling at him. And he got big mad. They hurt his feelings because he's a big tough man. And he got out of his pickup truck and he went and he attacked a teenage girl that was half his size.
Yep.
And he started swinging at her. And now this is all on video. It's a very funny video. You should go see it. So what happened? All the kids jumped his ass and beat him to the ground. It was very, very funny. And the thing I was wondering was, why the fuck was he not in jail? But Morgan X just popped on and she said he got arrested.
Good.
Which he absolutely fucking should have, because he a grown-ass man attacking a teenager. And it don't matter if he got his ass beat afterwards. He's a grown-ass man attacking a teenager. You go to jail for that.
My response to that video was they didn't beat him enough. He got up and walked back to his truck.
I mean, my response to that would have been,
those were nice kids.
Yeah, like, my response would have been, if that was my daughter, would have been, oh, I have a metal baseball bat and I'm going to find you and I'm going to crack your fucking skull open. It don't matter if the cops arrest you or not. You're going to meet my baseball bat. You touched my fucking kid.
Oh, so, yeah, I'd call the sheriff's department and say, listen, this is who did it. This is the video. You better find him before I find him.
And even after you do find him, if he gets out on bail, you better not let him out on bail, because I am going to find him. And then he's going to be on a fucking slab. So anyway, okay, that's delightful. That just cheers me up. I'll have to text my daughter about that, because she thought it was very funny. It was even funny at the end when he got back in his car, someone just screamed out, "Fucking kill yourself," which is just like, my daughter says that all the fucking time when we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. So all right. Let us move on. It is time for You Scream, I Scream. We all scream because of fucking ice.
Oh, boy. It appears we now have confirmation that our suspicions were correct. Greg Bovino is a white supremacist douchebag. What? I know. Contain your surprise, Ogre. We got to get through the show.
Shock! Here's my shock face. Shock!
Emails that were part of a discrimination lawsuit against senior Border Patrol officials have come to light. In one exchange in May 2018, Christopher Bullock, a white Border Patrol agent who worked with Bovino in California, sent him a message with a photo of Virginia's Confederate General William Mahone and a caption that read, "Chief Bovino." Two other photos were also attached. One was a group of Confederate Civil War reenactors standing around a Confederate flag with the caption, "NILL All Hands Meeting," referring to New Orleans Border Patrol sector where they were working at during that time. The other photo was of a black Union soldier and an artillery position during the war, and the caption, "NILL Sector HQ." Bovino replied, "Oh, geez, delete," but didn't reprimand his friend. The lawsuit against Bovino was brought by CBP officials who claimed Bullock was promoted ahead of them because of their race. During depositions, Bullock admitted the images could be considered racist, but Bovino denied the emails were racist and didn't think Bullock deserved to be investigated. The agents who sued settled for undisclosed amounts, and Bovino went on to terrorize Minneapolis. Bovino has also been outed, to the surprise of literally no one, as an anti-Semitic asshole. Last month, the tiny cosplaying Nazi wannabe mocked Daniel Rosen, Minnesota's Jewish U.S. attorney, for observing his faith. On a phone call, he sneered about Rosen being one of the, quote, chosen people. He could have possibly foreseen that a man with who could have foreseen this? A man with a custom-made trench coat designed explicitly to resemble the uniform of an SS officer would be a Jew-hating bigot.
Shock!
There was just no way to predict such a thing. We here at the Og Pod will also be deeply shocked, we tell you, when we discover that Bovino is also a pedophile.
I mean, it really just goes hand in hand with white nationalism. So, all right.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was like, what's a little pedophilia when you consider everything else, not a person?
Yeah, exactly. It's the master race, yo.
Yeah.
Speaking of white supremacist losers, a group of ICE agents reportedly cracked a man's skull and then lied about it. No. But
Shocking.
they're so honest. In January, ICE agents arrived at a Minneapolis hospital with Alberto Castaneda Mondragon, and they claimed the Mexican immigrant sustained facial and skull fractures after he tried to escape and, quote, purposefully ran headfirst into a brick wall. Yeah.
Mm.
Hospital staff thought the explanation was super weird, probably because he wasn't the Kool-Aid man. Oh, yeah. Alberto was also suffering from brain bleeds when he was brought into the hospital. One nurse told the Associated Press it was laughable. It was if there was something to laugh about. There was no way this person ran headfirst into a wall. The AP reported after about 4 hours after his arrest, he was taken to the hospital emergency room in suburban Edina with swelling and bruising around his right eye and bleeding. A CT scan revealed at least 8 skull fractures and life-threatening hemorrhages in at least 5 areas of the brain, according to court documents. According to Alberto's lawyers, he entered the country in 2022 with a valid visa. He started a construction company and had no criminal record. They accused ICE of racially profiling their client. 2 weeks after his arrest and assault, a district court judge ordered his release from custody. It's unclear where he is now, but we hope he's okay and that he sues every last one of these motherfuckers into the poorhouse before we put them on trial and in a small cell for the next 25 years.
And all that, and all of that's purposeful. I mean, it's you know, you hear these. I mean, you see what they did with Renee Good when they refused to let someone who, you know, identify themselves as a physician to render her first aid, or not performing CPR on Alex Pretty, which is standard practice and policy procedures after there's a shooting. You know, they basically rolled him over to count the bullet holes.
Yeah, because it's like, oh man, look how cool it is.
yeah, because it's like, oh, it's like Call of Duty, you know. And
Morgan says the family's reporting he's got clear brain damage. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing is 4 hours, which who knows how long, you know, it actually was. But I mean, anything. That's why they call the first hour the golden hour, right? Like the moment that happened, it's like, you know, they should have brought him to the hospital. But again, if you're a Gestapo and you are basically taking him to camps, you don't care what happens to him, you know. And so, speaking of Alex Pretty, finally, the 2 agents who killed Alex Pretty have been identified by ProPublica. According to a report, Border Patrol agent Jesus Ochoa and CBP officer Raymond Gutierrez were responsible for shooting Pretty 10 times while he lay on the ground defenseless after being pepper sprayed in the face. Ochoa's ex-wife called him a gun enthusiast who owned more than 24 firearms when she divorced him in 2021.
Fucking homosexuals.
Yeah, a violent divorced loser. Who could have thought that's who joined ICE? When he joined the agency in 2018, Gutierrez became an agent in 2014 and worked for the Special Response Team. It's not clear which agent fired first, but DHS confirmed their identities in a report to Congress. It's kind of curious that with all the guys standing around, the 2 that got identified to Congress were both Hispanic. Fascinating. That's
interesting.
Yeah, that's not questionable at all. I'm sure it was all in the up and up. You know, it's important to note that these are not new recruits with no training. They knew exactly what they were doing and murdered Pretty because they'd been ordered to terrorize the American people under the mistaken belief they have immunity for every crime they commit. While we want more training for the new assholes being hired by ICE and CBP to make them less dangerous to the public, both agencies are already lost causes. They must be burned to the ground and erased forever. When people gasp in horror that we can't leave America unprotected, remind them that ICE and CBP have only existed since 2003. As several people pointed out, that was 1 year after Lilo and Stitch and Ice Age came out. If you can remember the world before Scrat the squirrel started chasing that acorn, you can remember a world without either one of these havens for violent Nazis. We'll be just fine without Stephen Miller's paramilitary Gestapo filled with violent white nationalist animals roaming the streets. Yeah, but, you know, the border and terrorists and security or something. I don't know.
Blah, 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 blah. Open borders, blah, 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 blah. White nationalism, blah, 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 blah.
What we need is a border wall that Stephen Bannon can grift off of and go to jail for again. That's what we need. We need more, just graft from the government that just hands money out to their millionaire supporters who are all white and not Somali.
What we need to do is fucking allow migrants to come do the work and go home like we used to. Half the reason we have so many immigrants who come here and stay here is because we don't allow them to come do the work and leave the way we used to. That used to work quite well. They would do the seasonal work and go home because they don't really want to live here. They want to come here, do the seasonal work, and go home to their families. But then Republicans made it hard to do that, and now they get stuck here because they still have to come here and do the work, but now they can't cross the border as easily, so now they come here and stay here so they can send money home.
That's crazy. Who wouldn't want to be here with overpriced chain restaurants with pre-made food that's frozen? Like, come on, our culture is there.
God, Jesus. All right. It's time for headlines for short attention spans.
This is for me.
All right. We have an Epstein Files update. There's a lot, but we're not going to get to all of it because there's a lot. The DOJ dumped about 3 million files on Friday, and that's still not quite half of what the FBI has. Presumably, they're still hiding the worst of the worst to protect Trump. And yet, what we got is still fucking horrific. Trump is reportedly spitting bullets because any of it's out at all, which begs the question of why and how. Trump has also demanded, yet again, that America move on from the Epstein files because it hurts his feelings that we're talking about it. And he really, really doesn't want people to find out just how many little girls he's raped. But like I said, we're not going to dig too deep into this because there's so fucking much of it. There hasn't been time to process all of it. Here are a few of the lowlights, though. Surprise! Elon Musk is in the files. Remember, he was like, Donald Trump's in the files, blah, blah, blah. Well, so the fuck is he. He was, among other things, he was emailing back and forth about flying to Epstein Island to party with the girls. Maybe he meant women, but Musk is a billionaire, and he does not need Jeffrey Epstein to hook him up with escorts. He don't need that. He's a billionaire. He's one of the rich. At the time, he was one of the richest men in the world. Now he's the richest man in the world, but at the time, he was one of the richest men. He can get escorts anywhere he wants at anytime he wants. He don't need Jeffrey Epstein for that. Children, though, that was Epstein's specialty. And now Musk allegedly didn't make it to the island for scheduling reasons, but he wanted to. And Epstein did not limit his child trafficking to his island. So think about that.
Oh, and that's just the start, because Donald Trump allegedly ran auctions where he sold naked little girls and molested them in front of an audience, which included one of his sons, his daughter, and Elon Musk.
Such nice people.
There are at least 37 different people closely associated with the Trump regime in the new batch of files, at least 37 that we know of thus far. Because again,
there's 3 million files.
There's 3 million of them.
God knows how many more Trump people in the regime are going to pop up in there.
And of course, Epstein dreamed of having multiple children with multiple women because he was a eugenicist. Who does that sound like? Whose name also starts with an E? He thought he had superior genes, blah, blah, blah. There was a diary entry in there from one girl panicking because she was being used as breeding stock by Epstein and Maxwell. She called it Nazi shit because, yes, it is in fact Nazi shit. All the DOJ's claims that they can't release the files because they're carefully vetting them to protect victims is absolutely total bullshit. Names, faces, address, the entire driver's license of one victim, they're all in there, unredacted, including several victims who have never made their names public.
Yeah, they were just fucking thrilled about that.
Yep. They literally posted unredacted naked photos of several victims. We're not sure if the photos were of adults or children. People lose their jobs over this kind of stuff. This is the stuff of lawsuits. They're not protecting anyone but Trump and his pedophile friends. They redacted the heck out of all those names. Well, the ones they didn't do a botched job on, at least.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's all in the up and up.
Oh yeah, totally. Now, in the coming weeks, so much more filth is going to be coming out. But the question is now, why is no one being arrested? Why is Elon Musk not in handcuffs? Why is Bill Gates not in jail? Why are Republicans not publicly denouncing their pedophile leader? Okay, we know the answer to that. But why is the legacy press not publishing screaming headlines about this? We all know they desperately want to smear Bill Clinton's name across the front page, but they can't without acknowledging that everyone else is guilty too. So what? Bill Clinton gets a pass? They all get a pass? Are they really going to do, if everyone is guilty, no one is? Because I'm pretty sure that shit is not going to fucking fly with the public, because we've been screaming for the blood of pedophiles for fucking years, especially the fucking QAnon people. Right? Like, we were joking about this at the beginning. QAnon was right about all of it, except they were wrong about which party it was.
Oops.
I mean, there's some Democrats in there. There's an awful lot of fucking Republicans in there, including their dear leader, Donald Trump. Someone pointed out that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files more times than Harry Potter's name is in all 7 fucking Harry Potter books, which is fucking insane. And those are long fucking books. So it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. How
Jeffrey was just a casual. Well, that happens when you're just a casual acquaintance and have a couple real estate deals.
Yeah. And I would like to point out, I know this is supposed to be just short headlines for short attention spans, that because this is still way under my fucking skin. Matt Taibbi and Michael Tracy, who are definitely going to be listening to this because they're huge fans of mine, both of those fucking assholes spent a couple of weeks going on, and I haven't checked in on them lately, so who fucking knows what they're doing now. But they spent a whole lot of time going on and on about how the Epstein files were a fucking hoax, and how it was part of Trump derangement syndrome, and how, clearly Donald Trump, blah, 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 and it was just a Democratic thing, and blah, 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 blah. So both of them can eat a bag of fucking Epstein dicks. Both of them are fucking assholes.
I think that what we need to do, Ogre, is we need to mitigate Matt Taibbi. Who's the other gentleman?
Michael Tracy. Michael Tracy.
Yeah, we need to mitigate. I think we need to start a GoFundMe and mitigate them, and we'll do it in the military way, which is we'll send them each a house plant with a note attached that says, "Carry this around for you to make up for all the oxygen you're stealing." Because you're a waste. You are a waste of oxygen, and since you're going to be here, try to make up for it.
Fucking Russian assets to both of them.
Oh God, yeah. Like, especially Matt Taibbi, who at one time was actually worth a damn when he was at the Rolling Stone, and now, ever since he went to The Intercept, man, who backed The Intercept? I wonder.
I think it was a billionaire libertarian guy. I feel like that's who it was.
Yeah, somebody that's connected to JD Van, who's definitely not in the Epstein files.
No, definitely not. Definitely.
No way not. All right, let's move on to some other shitty news before it's getting to the good stuff. We mentioned her earlier, but Tulsi Gabbard, Florida woman's gal pal, has been very busy when she's not helping Trump rig elections. We're not really sure what else she's been up to, but the word treason comes to mind. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that there is a whistleblower complaint against Putin's girlfriend. That would be Tulsi Gabbard. It was filed 8 months ago with an intelligence community watchdog. You might be wondering why you haven't heard about this. That's because no one knows what's in the complaint, not even Congress. It's been locked in a safe this entire time. You see, the nature of the complaint is so damaging to national intelligence, the regime can't figure out how to show it to Congress, which they are legally obligated to do without causing an international incident. That sounds an awful lot like someone got caught passing off classified intelligence to someone she wasn't supposed to. And all we know is, and we all know Tulsi is best buddies with old Vladimir. But don't worry, Tulsi has personally had the complaint investigated and announced that no wrongdoing was found. So there's no reason to show Congress anything. We just have to trust her, which would be more convincing if she didn't keep saying it in Russian.
We have investigated ourselves and found that there was no wrongdoing whatsoever.
I have done everything above board with Jeffrey Epstein and Russia.
All right. On Sunday, the clown currently squatting in the Oval Office announced he is shutting down the Kennedy Center for 2 years for renovations.
Fantastic.
The next day, Nick Kent, I'm so excited. The next day, he told reporters that he wasn't going to tear the building down because he'll, quote, be using the steel. He also said he was going to keep some of the marble, but when it reopened, it would be, quote, brand new and really beautiful, which is highly doubtful. When asked how much the renovations would cost, he said probably around $200 million and didn't say where the funding for the construction would come from. Remember, that's the same price he gave for the White House renovations, and that project has so far allegedly ballooned to like at least $400 million. Two things here. First, it sounds like Trump realized he was tanking the Kennedy Center after he took it over, and a number of performers canceled. We'll bet a shiny nickel that they couldn't book a single Broadway show or off-Broadway show for the next season. And this would be the time that they're booking for next year.
Yep.
Right. The rest of this year's booked, right? You know, the ones that haven't canceled. But next year, they're already going to be booking those shows. And nobody's going to be booking there because who's going to want to run their show in the Trump Center? Nobody. And there's no way he could hide that from the public because everyone's going to know no shows and audience attendance is just going to be non-existent for the shows that they do get there.
Yep.
Fascism must project the illusion of strength and control at all times. So the second thing is this absolutely sounds like another scheme to steal money from the American people under the guise of renovations. And how long before we start hearing that people, you know, billionaires in foreign countries and companies are donating money to Trump to fund the remodel, which, you know, no accounting, that money's just going to disappear into black holes and, you know, Swiss bank accounts and the Cayman Islands and blah, blah, blah. And it's always a fucking grift with these people.
Yep. Oh, and keeping with the theme of fascism failing at the arts, we're very sad to report that Melania, the greatest documentary ever made about a home-wrecking, gold-digging nude model who was also somehow got an Einstein visa and is married to a white nationalist pedophile. Well, it lost about $68 million at the box office, despite the Hollywood Reporter raving that it made $8 million in the opening weekend, at least in tickets sold, that were presumably bought by Jeff Bezos, who is also the billionaire parasite owner of Amazon, who paid $40 million for the rights to the movie as a bribe to the regime. Maybe, probably, totally. Then spent another $35 million to promote it. And yet, Melania has been ripped by the critics as one of the worst movies ever made. Theaters were mostly empty, but that didn't stop Kayleigh McEnany on Fox News from going full Baghdad Bob. Man, I miss Baghdad Bob. I love
All right, we got some audio for you here. So this was quite spectacular. Here we go.
I'm gonna hear this. I love this.
Hold on. Let me try that again.
Oh my God.
It would be wrong. Emily, my mom went to this weekend in Florida. She said not only was the theater packed, it was, standing room only if you could try to sneak in the back of the theater. People were cheering through it. They were excited. It was interactive. People interplaying with the film. She said it was just electric.
Electric. And
yeah, that never happened.
I
That absolutely did not happen. There's no fucking way that happened.
Bro, I have been to some wild premieres, man. Like I remember the fervor over the Phantom Menace when it came out. Like, and just lines for tickets and midnight showings. There was never standing room only.
It's like, bitch, this ain't the Rocky Horror Picture Show. No one was interacting with the fucking movie.
No, it's not Cannes, and even Cannes isn't standing room. It's like I'm literally having my Tropic Thunder mood. It's like, you went full Baghdad Bob? Man, you never go full Baghdad Bob.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
It's like, no, you don't go full Baghdad Bob. Not for Trump, not for Melania. Meanwhile, Paula White Cain, Trump's fake spiritual advisor, has been spamming emails to get people to buy bulk tickets to support our First Lady. Because if you can't make it, fake it, and then claim theaters are standing room only. Also, Erica Kirk of the grieving widow of St. Charlie the Ventilated.
I will never stop making fun of that. I don't give a shit if it's
I mean, I would also, I would also St. Charlie the Ventilated, patron of neck pain, has also announced the lineup for her much forgotten about alternative to the Super Bowl halftime show. Like many racist white trash, poor bereaved Erica was big mad that the Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny is performing. Everyone knows that Puerto Ricans aren't real Americans, so Erica is putting on her own show that no one cares about. Somehow, even with unlimited money coming from white Christian nationalist billionaires, she could only get Kid Rock, Brantley Gilbert, Lee Bryce, Gabby Barrett. Sounds like a real powerhouse of who gives a shit, or who are these people besides Kid Rock? I have no
idea who they are.
I idea who any of these people are. Except Kid Rock. Fascists hate pop culture because they will never, ever dominate it, and next Sunday will be humiliating. Beyonce could show up with on a random street corner, start singing country music dressed like Elvis, and draw a larger crowd than Kid Rock. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we have another example of the leopards eating people's faces. Right-wing Brazilian influencer Junia Pena recently posted a video on social media sucking Donald Trump's tiny mushroom dick, figuratively, and declaring his love for the authoritarian. He claimed the immigrants who were being targeted by ICE were all crooks. Apparently, he was one of those crooks because his ass was rounded up by ICE and sent to a detention center. A friend of his told reporters he'd missed a court date, which led to his detainment. I never thought the white nationalists who sent me to the concentration camp, said the non-white person. Listen, if you're Latino and you still support the Nazis, y'all are some of the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet. I don't know how I can make this any more clear to you. You are not white. I don't give a fuck how light-skinned you are. If you have a Latino last name, like I do, have an accent, like I don't, eat rice and beans, like I do, have an abuelita, like I do, or did, sorry. Any of it, they do not give a fuck how many MAGA hats you own or if you've been here for 5 generations. Your dumbass is going into camps right next to the guy who just crossed the border last week. We are all the same to them. I'm the whitest McWhitey white boy you can imagine. Look at this. Look at me. I'm white. I'm so generically white. I could be literally anything. I can pass for Italian, British, German, anything at all. But I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm not a real American to these fucks. Never mind the Jewish part. They want me dead, and they want you dead too. You're just too fucking stupid to figure that out.
And let me go a little further than that, because I am white. You know, like my last name is Pogue, and I am,
which translates into white boy.
Right. I like my ancestry that was not considered white at one time is German, Romanian, and Scandinavian on my mother's side, Swedish and Scandinavian. My father's side is Irish, English, and supposedly Cherokee, but I digress. You know, that's what every Southerner says, is like they all got Cherokee in them.
And they all hate Native Americans somehow.
Right. Here's the thing about, because I've been around these folks. I'm leftist, I'm woke, whatever you want to throw at me. I'm still considered white to them. I'm just misguided. Even with all your MAGA hats, even with all your support, outwardly, all this, I'm more white than you to them. That's how fucked up it is. You're never going to be in the club. Never. Because you don't have this. You don't have this. It's that simple. I promise you. Even if you're Spanish and you came from Europe and you can trace your ancestry back to the old country, it doesn't matter. If it's got a Gutierrez at the end of it,
you're not white.
Nope. You're not in the club. That's why we got to tear down white supremacy, guys. You know, I'm telling you, you're never going to be safe. Never. Like, you know, I mean, they might line me up against the wall, but it's going to be because I'm a dissident. It's not because of my ethnicity. You know, so
no, they'll consider you a race traitor.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, when they need to go more extreme, then they'll round me up. You know, it's like, you know, but I'm after they've rounded everybody else up, and then they're like, well, we got to keep killing
There's got to be someone else left to kill.
Well, let's get the race traders out, you know. So, yeah, they'll eventually come for me, but it'll be last. So, you all need to wake up, man. I'm telling you, I've been around these racist folks. I know, because they talk to me like I'm one of their own, you know, and the shit they say would shock Jesus back to life. You know. Last week, we told you about ICE using 5-year-old Liam Ramos, the adorable little boy with the bunny hat and the Spider-Man backpack, as bait to arrest his family, because these people are not at all pieces of shit. Liam was sent to a Texas immigration facility with his father after they were picked up by the brown shirts. Lawyers for the father and son argued that they had an asylum case pending and entered the U.S. at a port of entry, exactly like they were supposed to, following the law and everything that these people who support Trump say they want. U.S. District Judge Fred Beery, that's a good first name, ordered DHS to release them from custody over the weekend and ripped the regime apart, saying this case has its genesis in the ill-conceived and incompetently implemented government pursuit of daily deportation quotas, apparently even if it requires traumatizing children. That's exactly right. Never stop repeating it. This was never about going after criminals or upholding the law. This was always about terrorizing the nation and building a violent paramilitary force, otherwise known as a Gestapo, to carry out Stephen Miller's Nazi fantasies.
God, I can't wait until there better be fucking pictures of his body after he fucking starts chugging cyanide after the regime falls. I swear to God, there better be fucking pictures.
I want Stephen Miller to just have the fortitude and the stamina to not do that, because I want to see him swing at the gallows.
Oh no, that man's a fucking coward. He's definitely gonna fucking eat a bullet or swallow cyanide. And I want the pictures. I want it on my fucking desktop.
Oh yeah, you know he's going out like Goebbels, man. You know,
he's not. No, he definitely is.
Yeah, He'll probably kill his wife, his whole family. You know, they'll all take cyanide poison or whatever.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
don't want to see his kids. I don't want to see his wife. I just want to see a picture of him dead, preferably with his eyes bulging out of his fucking head. All right.
You're playing too much D&D, man.
Oh my God, you should hear the descriptions when a character dies. Anyway, let's finish up the headlines with some outrageously terrible news. If you're a Republican, that is. Now, sit yourself down and let your old Uncle Ogre tell you a fairy tale. Once upon a time, there was a special election in Texas for Senate District 9. Now, Senate District 9 is a deep red district. It's been red since 1991. It went to the Mad King Trump in 2020-24 by 17 points. It was a magical time. SD9 is also home to a couple of big-time billionaire Christian nationalists who poured millions into this race. The Mad King tweeted about it a whole lot on his crappy Twitter knockoff, telling his cult to vote for the Republican candidate. Republicans were determined to hold on to this seat and have themselves a proper fairy tale ending. But your old Uncle Ogre is here to tell you that this here fairy tale does not have a happy ending for the fascist fucksticks. Despite the Republican candidate spending $2.5 million and the Democratic candidate, Taylor Remitt, spending just $380,000 total and almost nothing at all in the last couple of weeks of the race, the Mad King and the Christian nationalist billionaires, well, they lost. And they didn't just lose. They were fucking crushed like a tin can.
Oops.
That district, the Mad King won by 17 points. Well, it turned into a 14-point win for the Democrats. That's a 31-point shift to the left. Not only did the Latino vote swing wildly back to the left, but Republican voters voted for the Democrat too. Republicans are taking the news with their usual amount of grace. Wayne Allen Root, a longtime far-right political yapping mouth, had some thoughts about the loss. This was on Twitter. Actually, I don't know where he posted this. Texas State race. Something is very wrong. I don't believe the results for 1 second. Rigged. Check the machines. This is how communists take over the United States or USA. You really think the Dem brand being 100% poison, crazy, radical, nutjob communists who have destroyed every city in the USA, which is weird because I don't remember every city being destroyed, who want to turn USA into a third world shithole and turn your sons into weirdo, mentally ill girls and let every crazed murderer and rapist out of prison and want DEI so white people never get a job again. That party won Texas special election in 100% red district with beautiful female GOP candidate endorsed by President Trump. Really? You believe that? I have a bridge to sell you in Vegas over Pacific Ocean. And if this isn't fixed, good luck in midterms, which means America is finished 1+ year after Trump electoral landslide. Makes sense, right? My God.
I mean, seriously, dude, if you had a choice between, a polymorph son who's a weirdo, mentally ill girl, or a beautiful female GOP candidate endorsed by Trump, like, who would you pick?
I mean, obviously,
who would you pick to hang out with? I mean, seriously, I mean, yeah, you're. I think you're like, no, I'm gonna vote. Like, all right, Wayne, I'm kind of voting for the other side. I'm not voting for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't hang with Nazis.
No.
Now, should someone remind Root that Republicans control the entire state from top to bottom? Every lever of power, every office, every position from dog catcher to governor. Who the fuck rigged it? Secret communist Republicans? Cry more, moron. But you still have to feel just a little bad for the imbecile. Like most Republicans, Root was super excited about Texas redistricting to steal seats for the glory of their God Emperor Donald Trump. But as we've discussed a bunch of times on this show, that gerrymandering just don't work in a blue wave. And the bigger the wave, the more seats Republicans are going to lose that would have been safe before. A 31-point blue wave is a potential disaster on a scale they cannot even comprehend. Even half of that would be a disaster. But 31 points? That's just 8 months of sleepless nights, and they deserve every fucking one of them. Ha, ha, ha. Now that's a happy ending we can get behind.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. And as you know, man, Texas is the most voter suppressed, gerrymandered state. I mean, you want to talk about cheating, right? I mean, you look at Ken Paxton and what he's done.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
like this right here is like, it is just like you all are pathetic excuses for white supremacists. You can't even do this. Like this is tragic. Like,
I'm so looking forward to November. Like
I mean,
they're just gonna absolutely fucking panic
yeah,
when November comes. And like how are they gonna say, oh yeah, no, we're gonna seize the voting machines in Texas because clearly the Republicans there cheated? What? Huh?
also this win defied the other class that I would love to see go away, which is the political consultant with their, it's like focus groups and this and that and blah
Jesus
blah
fucking
blah.
Christ, seriously.
It's like get rid of them too. It's like, well, you got to have money. It's like, well, it turns out if you just run on like, hey, so I'm gonna run on affordability, better wages,
and not being a fucking pedophile.
right, not being pedophile, tenant rights, and good public schools. Oh my God, communism.
All right. Let us move on to self-care of the week. Mr. Pogue, what did you do this week to take care of yourself?
Besides like, working out and my diet not being there, but I did manage to work out. I played Dungeons and Dragons.
Ooh, we really do have to do that podcast.
I know, like, I played in Forgotten Realms, we're getting the band back together, and so, yeah, it was.
Did you start at level 1 or did you start with a high level character?
No, this is an older character, right? And we actually play, we simplified it. So we play in the setting, but we use Unisystem, so we use Unisystem, and it's a character I've played in like 3 other campaigns.
Tell us, what kind of character is it?
So it is he is a sellsword, but he's actually a priest of Helm. So basically he's trying to help his family, by being a sellsword, but then he's caught between the morality of being a priest of Helm and being a protector, right? So he has to very carefully choose what jobs he takes. So, and I just kind of do that to, basically it's like, oh, there's an adventure.
A mercenary with a heart of gold.
Well, it's a little more on the Games of Thrones side of things, a little more sort of like realpolitik. And so like basically it's the concept was essentially because he's built like a Templar. Like what happens when you leave the monastery and you have to go out into the real world? And how does that affect your morality? And you have to make choices between earning gold and doing the right thing. And what is the right thing? like so we kind of have we have fun with that, so because that's one thing I'm curious about is like, our game is obviously geared more towards like it's a little more George R.R. Martin mixed in with copious 80s references. But it's kind of more on that side of it. So I'd be curious to like, I'm always fascinated, like, what does he run for his daughters? Like, it's like, but then I hear you about Stephen Miller. I was like, would he describe the entrails as they got disemboweled? Like, where does Ogre go with that?
Yeah. It depends. Like one of the girls is a bit squeamish when it comes to blood, so I can't get too graphic. But sometimes when they roll a 20 and that's the end of a cat, like when they kill something with a nat 20, I do get a little bit graphic. It's like, yeah, you didn't just hit him with your sword. You kind of exploded his head and there's bits of brains flying all over the place. I do have to give them a little bit of a bonus. It's like you didn't just get, or like, when he's down to like 5 hit points and then they roll, a 20 and they do like an extra 40 points of damage. It's like, okay, you didn't just kill him. You kind of split him in fucking half.
What's funny is like, and I guess this is part of also the generational thing. It's like because it's a bunch of guys, right? And we're all middle aged. It's like, all right, well, so what would your character do? All right, he's gonna go to a fest hall, which is a whorehouse, and it's like, all right, and you go there, and so it's, even now I'm like, all right, it's just like, yes, it's like she looks like this. This is great. All right, so you do your thing. That always all the romance and stuff kind of gets hand waved, right? Like all of that's hand waved, but it's like, when it comes to describing food in the bar, it's always it's very, that is the George R. R. Martin joke where it's like, oh, they serve you a bread trencher that has less flour, and it's like they've got this so like all the food is like really descriptive, but the sexuality and all that stuff is like, that's hand wave.
Well, the girls in my group, I have to like dial it back when it comes to going to taverns, because they just want to have they'll spend 40 minutes ordering food, and then I have to describe all the food in great detail. And it's like, okay, we can't do this every time. We'll never get anything done. And they've also taken to killing and cooking every single monster we come across. They have a running list of every single thing they've eaten, including 2 types of dragons, all the different orc and elf and halfling. It's like they kill and eat everything.
My God.
They're savages. They're absolute savages. One of them has a hellhound pet that they use to cook everything.
What?
They call it the Easy Bake Oven. It's like, oh my God, what's wrong with you people?
Funny enough, like some of the best moments in our game is like Marius was like, that's the name of my character. Marius was traveling on a barge. He's heading to Baldur's Gate from Erebor, so he's traveling down the river, and there was a family. It was mom and a dog. Like this is where my DM excels at the little things like that. So they had it was a family. It was like a mom and a dad and a young boy. They're Omnian, so they're Arabic for folks who don't play. And they were going down the river. We're going to Baldur's Gate, and Marius caught some of their conversation where they're telling the boy, like, don't take things, blah, blah, don't have sticky fingers, keep your hands to yourself. And Marius ended up catching him in his pack where he was stealing something. And Marius is, he just says, whatever you took, put it back, basically. And because Marius is carrying some gems he's having to deliver because he's getting in a candle keep. And what it was Marius had made pemmican, or Forgotten Realms version of pemmican, out of deer meat, and the boy just wanted some food, and so we ended up like having this full-blown conversation where, he's like, no, it's like, you got to eat it, you got to put it in water, and then they broke bread, and so now it's like he's talking to the father, who's like a gem, like basically a jewelry merchant and is heading to Baldur's Gate. And going back to Kotla. So that's the little things that I like, that let your girls do that, because like we get into that, and that has led to all kinds of adventures where, like, I think in one case he actually negotiated a dock worker strike because he just started talking to people, and it was like, the local lord, like, who ran the docks, was like, I'm gonna hire you. He wanted Marius to be a strike breaker. And Marius is like, okay, so you just want me to end the strike? And he's like, yeah. So he ended up turning it on the guy and became a negotiator, and he's like, you want me to end it? You hired me. This is what I'm doing. I'm ending it. And so he negotiated the end of a strike, and nobody got killed, Yeah,
I'm going to have to edit most of this and put it at the end of the show, but
yeah.
Let us move on. So for my self-care of the week, aside from pissing off several dozen Nazis, and actually I think at this point it's well over 100, and mocking a bunch of them in my spare time, my self-care this week was binge watching Better Call Saul with Mrs. Ogre and Teen Titans Go by myself, because Mrs. Ogre is sadly lacking a sense of humor. If you're not familiar with it, Better Call Saul is the prequel series to Breaking Bad. It's set like 5 years before, while also continuing the story of the title character, Saul. after he escapes from the black hole that is Walter White. We're halfway through season 5 of 6. We should be wrapping it up sometime next week. It's so good. Have you seen either one of the shows?
Yes.
Oh my
I
God.
love Vince Gilligan is amazing.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. So amazing. We're enjoying it so much. We don't normally chew through shows this quickly, but we're just like absolutely hooked. We're just like, oh my God, we have to watch another episode. Oh my God, we don't know another episode. Now, if you don't know what Teen Titans Go is, I can't really explain it other than it's completely insane and very, very, very funny. I've been making a lot more time to disengage from work and watch more TV, play games, do any fucking thing that does not involve reading about Donald Trump.
Oh
Because, burnout is a very, very real thing. And while I can write until the earth is swallowed by the sun because I love it and need it like a flower needs water and sunlight, the work suffers if I push too much. So more self-care is required. And that's
Dude,
what
I'm there.
doing.
I mean, you just heard me go on and on about D&D in one session. You know, like I'm doing I dude, brother, I understand. Like I'm getting ready to watch the second season of Fallout. Like I just beat Dragon Age Inquisition, and I'm like, man, I need to play more D&D. Because this is just, dear God, you know, it's like it's a hellscape, man. Like,
someday when the girls are done with D&D, presumably when they graduate and go to college, I am going to go find a D&D game and go and be a character and not a DM, because I miss playing so much. I've been a DM now for 2 years and I want to be a player again so badly.
Dude, we will hook you up, bro. We honestly, we need players. So I think and I like small groups. Like, it's me and right now 2 friends. One guy's kind of getting back into it. And so it's a DM and 2 friends. And then, you know, it really works when you have 3. 3 is a really good, a DM and 3 players is awesome.
Really? Just 3? Like, usually I've been in groups of 5.
Yeah, you can do 5. I mean, it depends if everybody kind of plays. When you start getting into that, it plays more of a role. But I think if for our games, it goes much slower, and we really get into the minutia. And so I think if you want to play that style, which I really like, because I'm like you, dude. I can run a game, but I really love getting immersed into the character. You know, just I love just being into the headspace of that character, you know, and I get down to the nuts and bolts of it, what he's wearing, why he wears it, why he acts this way, what he looks like, everything, you know.
Okay, I don't know if I've ever gotten that detailed in it, but it is fun.
Oh yeah, it's fun, you know. Yeah, it just depends. I've played all I've been role playing since I was 7, so 42 years, you know.
Nice.
I've played all kinds of different games, all types, you know, and I love it, you know. So I highly encourage anybody to do it. If you have an imagination, do it.
And even if you don't, this will help you encourage you to have one. All right, let us wrap it up. That is it for today's show. The Opinionated Ogre podcast, like the newsletter, is free and 100% supported by you, our amazing audience. We have no advertisers and no sponsors, so please consider becoming a paid subscriber for only $5 a month or just $50 a year. If you'd prefer a one-time donation, we now have a PayPal button for your convenience. Boop, and there's the PayPal button. You can also help us by giving a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. Help others join the Ogre Nation conversation by sharing the OgPod on whatever social media platform you're using. You can find me at the Opinionated Ogre on Substack, Blue Sky, and also on TikTok. Mr. Pogue, where can our beloved audience find you?
Samesies, Substack, kind of Blue Sky, and also TikTok and YouTube.
Awesome. There are now just 270 days. That's it. Already down to 270 days until the most important midterm election in American history. and that time will fly by faster than you can possibly imagine. The regime is now demanding that we nationalize elections because it is weak. In November, we will show them just how fucking weak they are. Remember, you are not alone. There are millions of us. Stay
Millions.
strong. We beat the fascists once. We will fucking do it again. Adios.
Have a good one.
Bye. Derek, I played Vampire the Masquerade like 30 something years ago.
Play that too.
Oh yeah. I lost the vampire book. I still have Wraith and
Got that.
yeah, one of the others. I have to fucking get the vampire book again. I'm so fucking mad. I have the Book of Nod, but not the vampire book, which is super fucking annoying. I'm so fucking mad.
I never funny. Well, I got into vampire and White Wolf stuff when AIM and ICQ was a big thing. You know, the instant messengers, and I was working at community college on third shift, and so people would do the role playing on platforms, right? And so it happened in messengers, and that's when I really got into like sort of the minutia role playing and stuff, is because it's basically just a bunch of people. It basically was just more of a like, you know, artists that wanted to cyber. but every once in a while you'd get some people in there who were like really awesome at storytellers and writing, and so a lot of it was just writing scenes. And so I did that for like 3 years when I was going to school, and I got really good at like character development and dialogue and writing scenes. And so like when I started writing screenplays, they'd be like, dude, how is your dialogue so good? I'm like, because I was a dork for 3 years. You know, like just like I pretty much did it like 4 to 6 hours a night, because I was just at work and it's just what I did. You know, I couldn't do that now, but yeah, like I started in Dungeons and Dragons when I was a kid, you know, and back then it was like, I want to play fighter, I want to be a barbarian, I want to play Conan, I want to be Arnold. Yeah, that's how.
Oh well, yo, that was the thing back then.
Yep, it's like playing Conan. It's, you know, you had Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer, which I had on VHS and just wore it out. You know, so it was funny because like you had the guys in the group who were Lord of the Rings fans, and then you had the other guys who were like sword and sorcery fans from the '80s with all those like Arnold and Deathstalker and all those cheesy ass movies.
There was a lot of sword and sorcery movies back then. Not so many now, but man, they had a shit ton of.
Oh my god, yeah, dude! And like Roger Corman made a whole bunch of them. And it was just, you know, and it's like, what do you want? I want big muscles. You know, it's like, are you gonna play an elf? Yeah, but he's got to be a bodybuilding elf.
Okay.
It's just like, yeah, everybody's like, yeah, it's like, I want to be Wilt Chamberlain and Conan the Destroyer. You know, it's like
Bombassa.
Oh, dude, I mean, it was, yeah, I have played, oh man, Shadowrun, Star Trek.
I never played Shadowrun, but I read the books. The books were excellent.
Yeah, there's so much, like, there's some games like that. Like, it's interesting because like White Wolf is like, it's funny because like Wraith is difficult to play, but the lore is like insanely awesome.
Yeah, I just love reading the
lore is fantastic.
Yeah, the handbooks. The handbooks are fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I love reading the handbooks.
Yeah, because you go on, it's like, you know, sessions or whatever, you're like, it's real emo and you don't really get to do a whole lot. I mean, you can if somebody really understands the system, but like the one that's really awesome they made, I never played Mummy in there, but I did play Demon the Fallen, which kind of came and went. That's an awesome system. Like that one
I never saw.
Dude, it's they really get into like the lore of the fall and everything and how they break it up, and you're just like, dude, this game is amazing. Like, just the lore from it, you know, where you're like, how are they going to make this? Like, I was kind of skeptical. I was like, how are you not going to make it all Christian-y? Oh, they did a really good job.
Did you
like
ever
they
see
did.
the superhero version, Aberrant?
I heard about it, but I never read it.
It's the same idea, where it's the whole same idea as the World of Darkness, except it's superheroes. Where
Wow.
I mean, it's completely separate from World of Darkness, right? It's its own thing, but it's the same concept. Like, you're a person, you develop superpowers that will eventually drive you insane, and then you will become inhuman. Like, the more you use your powers, the more inhuman you become, and then you eventually
Nice.
lose your character. It's the same idea as Vampire the Masquerade, but with superpowers. It's so fucking crazy. I just reread it all the time. Just the handbook. I don't think they ever made any books for it, but just reading the handbook is like, it's just fucking crazy reading it.
Yeah.
If you could ever find it, it's called Aberrant. Just find it and read it. It's just like, wow, that's a TV show I would fucking watch in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's like I never really played. I dipped a toe into Mage. I dipped a toe into Changeling. Like I played Call of Cthulhu, which is, you want to talk about losing your character? Like
I know about Call of Cthulhu. I've never played it, but I know of it. Oh Jesus, I've heard things about Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, basically it's like you have an insanity stat, and you're eventually
you're fucking doomed.
Yeah, like you're gonna lose more and more of it, and yeah, I played a game in college where I was like a private eye, and I ended it without losing insanity, because it was basically like, we're coming to it, and it's, we defeated the big bad. It's like, you're gonna keep going? I'm like, no, I rescued the pretty girl and I got a bag of money. I'm leaving.
All right, I got to wrap this up. I got to go get my laundry, and I'm going to be on at 12:30 with Nick. So let me wrap this up.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Yep, and we will definitely have to get to the Dungeons and Dragons podcast. I will have to figure that out, but I will see you later. Everybody, goodbye.
How we going?